Hello, this is Hiroshi Yamazoe. In this part 3 of the video, continuing from the last video, I will talk in detail about my 5-day Ayahuasca retreat experience in Spain. In the previous video, I talked about day 2 and 3. In this video, I will talk about day 4 and 5 and what happened the following days. So let's begin. The third night I slept very well for the first time in a long time. In the early morning of the fourth day, I took a shower and changed my clothes as usual. I was feeling very refreshed this day too. In that day, there will be a meeting around noon, and in the evening, the third and final Ayahuasca ceremony was scheduled. On that day, I tried to be brave and joined the Uno that the participants were playing. The woman who lives in Basel, Switzerland, explained the rules of Uno to me. In that day, I didn't do anything else much, mostly just spend time relaxing and watching the scenery from the couch. And in the afternoon, the meeting began. This meeting was for the participants to share what they had experienced during their second Ayahuasca ceremony. When it was my turn, I realized that I was not feeling too nervous. I felt that this was a change that had been given to me by the 2 Ayahuasca ceremonies that I had experienced here. I feel that I no longer get too much nervous about little things because of those intense experiences. When it was my turn, I said something like this. At the last Ayahuasca ceremony, I had another intense vision. On the second day of the meeting, I said that I felt as if all beings were actually one being. Then in the following ceremony, I saw at the center of that one being. At the center of it was nothing, zero, empty, nothing at all. I saw the beings, particles, forms, and everything created without any limitations from that center of nothingness. And I felt that was the stunning truth for me in the experience. I feel that this was the most important experience of my life, and I could not have experienced it without the influence of everyone's presence, because in the vision I saw a presence that was like a collective consciousness kind of being. I didn't see anything like this when I did Ayahuasca alone by myself, and I felt that being was overwhelmingly great, amazing, sacred, and sublime. I feel that such a vision was created because of your amazingness, greatness, holiness, and sublimity. So I appreciate all of you. When I finished, the participants and staff members gave clapping hands. When I was speaking, I did not know how well my English was conveyed to people, but when the clapping hands started, I was so happy that I almost cried. And later, a man who lives in London, a different man from yesterday's Londoner, said, "I like what you shared today." I became so glad. Then one of the staff members that I spoke with on the first day, a Polish woman who is a playwright, asked me to tell more about what I shared today. Then I began to speak non-stop endlessly using my poor English. I went on and on, using various analogies to show that nothingness has unlimited power and the ability to create all things without any limitations. The more I talked about it, the more I felt excited and the more words came out of me. I was surprised at so many words came out of me as I talked about it. Then she said, "People's experiences are different. Another person told me I saw light, not nothingness. Also, you would better keep that story short, otherwise it's going to be endless." Then she told me in a calm tone this, "You had a mystical experience." And I promised to write a brief summary of my experience later. And in the evening, the third and final ayahuasca ceremony of this retreat was held. The ceremony was led by the same leader as usual. Once again, I ordered and drank twice the amount of ayahuasca in the beginning as I had done for the second ceremony, and as usual, the unpleasant taste of ayahuasca disappeared when I took a bite of a piece of pineapple and a peppermint candy. And by the way, previously I called peppermint candy as sour-tasting compressed tablet, but I learned that the correct term was peppermint candy. These are not medicines, they are the same kind of mint-flavored tablets that are often sold near the cash registers in supermarkets. They are used to refresh the mouth. And in the third candle lighting ceremony, I said the following wish: please tell me the purpose of this universe, the ultimate question. Then, as usual, a session of encouraging hugs was held. Then I moved to the mattress. After about 30 minutes, the nausea hit me as usual. At that time, I had not eaten anything since breakfast and had rarely taken drinks, so I did not throw up anything. However, the nausea just came over and over again. After suffering from nausea for about 30 minutes, I felt better and better as usual. This experience was like a reaffirmation of the vision I had on the second day. I think the vision I had on the second day was too intense and may have influenced this experience as well. The consciousness, the universe, the world, reality, everything originates from the point of nothingness and is therefore essentially unrestricted by anything and infinite. Everything is essentially nothing, infinite, and free. This image came up from the inside of me. For example, the following image came to my mind. Just as a blank space is necessary for creating a drawing, a blank space exists in the background of all things as an all-inclusive thing. For example, if there is a God, he also exists on a background of nothingness. Then one of the staff members asked me if I wanted to drink third cup of ayahuasca. I said yes and drank it, and this was the last ayahuasca cup of this 5 days retreat. Then, as usual, I took a bite of pineapple and peppermint candy, endured the nausea, and started to feel better and better. I don't remember anything about my vision at this time, but I remember that I felt very calm mentally, and I was just thankful for everything for this experience. I also felt that the music in the ceremony room was incredibly beautiful. After a while, a female participant yelled, "We did it!" and the participants began to laugh. I laughed too. I felt as if something impossibly achievable had been accomplished. Then the leader of the ceremony announced the end of the final ceremony. After a while, the Irish Englishman spoke to me. He gave me a cake, saying, "This is a cake to celebrate your new birthday." I felt like I was being reborn when something extraordinary was accomplished in the final ceremony, and I thought that was just what I needed. Then I spent a sleepless night on the mattress in the ceremony room as usual. I think taking ayahuasca seemed to keep me awake for a while. Then came the 5th day, the last day of my 5-day ayahuasca retreat. I left the ceremony room early in the morning around 5 a.m. and took a shower as usual. This day will only have one final meeting around noon, but the rest of the day will be just free to relax. And around 3 p.m., participants will leave the facility. I spent the day relaxing and enjoying the scenery, playing Uno with people, and as promised to the police staff yesterday, I briefly summarized my ayahuasca experience in text in the morning. Then the final meeting time came. In this final meeting, I read the text that I had written in the morning. The text is as follows. Everything is consciousness because we receive any information in the universe through consciousness. Consciousness is like a black hole swallowing up information from the outside world. In my 3 ayahuasca experiences here, I feel that ayahuasca has given me an insight into what consciousness is made up of. It goes like this. Consciousness is made of complete nothingness, zero, emptiness. It is a perfect nothingness that cannot be touched or seen. It neither decreases nor increases. It can never become dirty or clean. Emptiness continues to exist as emptiness forever. In that experience, I saw every single bit of this reality being created endlessly from that emptiness with no restrictions whatsoever. Because it is emptiness, it is without any restrictions. I feel that ayahuasca taught me that every light, every geometric pattern, every emotion, every being, every object, every particle continues to be generated from emptiness, the essence of consciousness. And when I was given this information, I felt profoundly peaceful, because everything is never lost, because emptiness, which is never lost, is at the center of everything. These 3 ayahuasca experiences were the most intense and profound experiences I have ever had in my life, and I had so many visions as well. These visions were related to various mythologies and religions. They were so awesome, so sacred, so beautiful, so amazing. I feel they were visions created by your collective consciousness. So I felt that you are so awesome, so sacred, so beautiful, so amazing people. And I feel that everyone has guided me to this point. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you. When I finished reading it, something surprising happened. There was a clapping hands and one of the participants started to cry. I didn't understand what had happened for a while, and he jokingly said in a crying voice, "What you did to me, Hiroshi." I was about to cry too. I had never imagined that I could actually do something that would make some impression on people in real life. And we took pictures and created a group on a messenger app. We are still connected through that app and social networking sites. And one of the staff members said to us, "Honestly, you are the best people I have ever met on this year's ayahuasca retreat." I thought it could be sales talk, but from the atmosphere, he seemed to really mean it. I too was impressed to meet such friendly and wonderful people, both the staff members and the participants. I feel that the power of ayahuasca has connected such wonderful people with a mystical power. And perhaps the participants believed in the mystical power of ayahuasca and were ready to take action to become a better version of themselves. If they didn't, they probably would not have participated in this type of event. And as such, their attitudes created such a positive and friendly atmosphere, which I think had a positive impact on the ayahuasca experience for the participants. Then the time has come to say goodbye. We exchanged encouraging hugs and goodbyes with the staffs and the participants. But many of us met again soon after, because many of us were staying in the nearby port town of Denia for a few days, and we kept in touch via Messenger app. And I arrived at the hotel in Denia by car with one of the staff members, and soon I met again with a Chinese Dutch woman and the Irish Englishman, who were staying just nearby from me. We had dinner at the hotel and took a walk along the beach in Denia. And the next day, I was exploring the city of Denia and the ruins of the castle of Denia with the Irish Englishman. In the city of Denia, we ate at a Japanese restaurant. The food was like a work of art. It was not like a usual Japanese food, but it was surprisingly delicious. The Irish Englishman said, I discovered that it is important to enjoy the taste of a meal, not just eat it. And I agreed. I talked with him about many things. We talked about Japan, Europe, and world situations. He was the person I talked with the most during this ayahuasca retreat. I am grateful to him for patiently engaging my poor English on many occasions. Afterwards, the participants staying in Denia gathered together for a meal. It was a great challenge to be among the people and eat a meal like this. The man who lives in London and looks about late 30s told me about his experience of smoking DMT. He said that when he smokes DMT, he is simply overwhelmed by the intense altered state of consciousness experience, with no time to think or analyze anything. But he said the colors and sights he saw at that time were amazing. And I exchanged information with a man in Roosendaal, the Netherlands, about podcasts related to psychedelics. There are various celebrities, scientists, and journalists on YouTube and Spotify talking about psychedelics these days, such as Joe Rogan, Dennis McKenna, Michael Pollan, Rick Strassman, Paul Stamets, and many others. He told me about a guy named Joe Dispenza, who has many insightful YouTube videos regarding psychedelics, quantum mechanics, etc. And after the dinner, we hugged and encouraged each other again. But the three of us, me, the Irish Englishman, and the Pakistani Dutch woman, reunited in the next morning and made the short trip. We took a ride in a car driven by the Irish Englishman and walked around the limestone cave and the clay in Denia. The Pakistani Dutch woman was a friendly, beautiful person. She was also a world traveler and had traveled to many different countries in the world. She gave me a bracelet, and the Irish Englishman gave me a pipe made of glass. I also gave them both gifts, and we said farewell with a hug. The last hug with them was a very sad but beautiful moment. It has left a deep impression in my memory. Beautiful, friendly people, I am deeply grateful to them. And then I departed. I am back to traveling alone. After leaving Denia, I traveled to various cities in Spain and Italy. During this journey, I met many new people other than those I met on my ayahuasca retreat as well. After the ayahuasca retreat, I met people in person who I had met through YouTube, social networking sites, and other internet sites. This was a big challenge for someone like me who has a childhood trauma that caused interpersonal phobia and who has Autism Spectrum Disorder. But compared to what I had experienced in the ayahuasca retreat, it didn't seem like a big deal. So I was able to communicate peacefully with new people, and I was able to gain many new foreign friends But of course, I think that ayahuasca ceremony is not a magic pill that will solve all problems. I myself still have many challenges, sufferings, and weaknesses. For example, there are still many times when I want to run away from encountering people. But I think that ayahuasca ceremony gave me the courage to face those challenges and work to improve the situation. Because I feel that after such the extraordinary experience, I no longer easily become afraid of little things. I will never forget that vision that the center of everything is nothingness with infinite power that transcends even death. So I have talked in detail about my 5-day ayahuasca retreat experience in Spain. Thank you for watching. I will continue to post various videos. If you are interested, please subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.